Hello, my beautiful friends. How are you doing this morning? I am going to start with a story today. Our topic is frequency and vibration, the difference between the two, how to perceive the two. The story from this morning helped me have a different perspective on it because, it's one thing to understand that everything is frequency and vibration and energy. It's another thing to actually what's the difference between the two? Because so many of us use it interchangeably. But I think that it's beneficial to sort of break down and identify the difference. All right. So this morning, I woke up and my mind was racing right away. And my body wasn't feeling that good because I overate the last few days. And so I was just feeling uncomfortable and my mind wasn't feeling good. My body wasn't feeling good. And I could tell I just needed to slow down, right? Because every time I would look at my phone, something like that. And every time I opened something, it would just bring on this deeper anxiety. So I was like, okay, no phone, not time for any of that stuff right now. Now it's time to sit with myself. And I just started to breathe. And only a minute into just doing some slower, intentional breaths, started to slow things down, started to feel better, right? And then I realized I was hungry, even though I've been eating plenty the last few days. But I realized I needed to give my body something helpful to continue this slowing down, right? And so I just got some fresh veggies and some nice hummus and had a little mini meal with that, all right? We had some red bell pepper, so that's hitting the root chakra. We had some celery for the heart chakra. We had some carrots for the sacral. Good stuff, and then I started to, as I was eating actually, and I wasn't distracting myself while eating or anything, just sitting there with my food and eating consciously and presently. And this just all helped me bring me into this realization of frequency and vibration and how I was able to alter that. Because when my mind was racing, it was in a state of anxiety, which is a state of fear. All right. It's not extreme fear, but it is still a state of fear. Any anxiety, any worry is still coming from fear, right? So emotions you can think of. There's an electromagnetic spectrum on which all energy lies. Emotions lie all along that spectrum that we experience. And you can think of each emotion as its own frequency, or really its own range of frequencies. Because it's not just like one frequency. There's frequencies, and then to many degrees, certain things can be experienced. And so fear is a lower frequency emotion, right? When we're tapped into any type of fearful state, we are in a lower state of being, and we are aligning with lower frequency realities. Now, if I have my focus on, let's say my mind is racing about something in particular, my frequency is aligning with what my mind is racing on right now, because that's what I'm putting my focus on. Now, if I really focus into the thoughts that are producing the worry, the anxiety, the fearful feelings, and I'm really putting my attention and my energy there, I'm ramping up the vibration. So you can think about vibration is sort of the speed at which you are experiencing a particular frequency. Frequency is like changing the radio station, right? You change the radio station from 101.1 to 103.5, and you're getting a different station, a different frequency. Now, if this were a weird radio, and I were able to either speed up the rate at which I was hearing it, or the rate at which it was playing, I would be increasing the vibration of that frequency. As where if I slowed it down, I would be decreasing the vibration of that frequency. So vibration is really like the rate of speed at which a particular energy or frequency is being experienced. So like this body, for example, this body is a particular frequency, all right? Now it's a range of frequencies because I got a whole lifetime and each moment is its own unique frequency. So Brian has his own range of frequencies. And as long as I am experiencing this form, this energy is being brought into vibration. Now, this form, though, doesn't just sit at one vibration, right? There are experiences I can have of this body moving very fast. It feels like my heart's racing. Maybe I'm doing some type of exercise, or I'm in an extreme emotional state of some sort, or we're doing other things. You know, lots of things can raise your vibration. And so even though you're navigating different frequencies, your vibration is also changing. So when I'm in that state of anxiety, and obviously none of us want to sit and be in anxiety all the time. In fact, if we had the choice, none of us would prefer it, probably. But here's the thing. If I start to recognize that I'm starting to spiral, and in that way, you could think of it as I'm putting so much focus and attention on this negative thought pattern, this anxious thought pattern, and I'm ramping it up, I'm spiraling, so to speak, and going deeper and deeper into it. As soon as I become conscious and aware that I'm stuck in that pattern, I now have the choice to change it. But how do you change it? A lot of people think, oh, just distract yourself or put your focus on this or that. And that can work sometimes, but it doesn't always work, right? What can work every time is when we notice it, now we need to slow down the vibration of it. And how do we do that? We return to the breath. We return to the breath because we're always able to consciously take control of our breath when we intend to. And even if you're having a panic attack, ask your guides for help in slowing down and getting back to your breath. Your breath is the key to controlling your vibration. You could do certain breathing techniques to raise your vibration. You could do certain techniques to lower your vibration. And when we do deep breathing, we're getting in touch with the parasympathetic nervous system, and we are calming that stress response down. So as soon as I notice I'm in a negative thought pattern, and it's ramping up, and it's feeling overwhelming, and I become aware of this, I now have the power to alter my vibration by coming back to my breath. And that's what I did this morning. And I started to consciously breathe, taking deeper and deeper inhales, deeper and deeper exhales, slowing it down. How fast am I breathing in, right? You know, there's a difference between taking a deep breath like, you know, and then doing a slow draw, right? And just really breathing slowly. And as you start to do that, you start to decrease the vibration, which makes it feel less overwhelming. And suddenly that racing mind has become focused on the breath. And as the breath slows down, the mind slows down. And so we lower the vibration of what the mind is experiencing at the same time. And as we become more aware of this process, the more we have the ability to transmute our state of being. And so, as we slow down, once the mind has slowed down, then changing your focus consciously and putting your attention on something else, or coming to a state of being where you can see how whatever that negative thought pattern was, maybe you can come into a state of reason or neutrality and start to see, oh, maybe this isn't something I need to worry about right now. Maybe this isn't something I need to worry about at all. Maybe there's a different perspective that can come to you once you calm down, right? And then we're able to shift our focus, which means we're shifting our frequency. We start to put our attention on something else. Like, what's something I could do then to take care of myself and love myself? And the example from this morning was I was able to have a healthy meal and put my attention on that. My body responded well to that. My mind responded well to that. And then I went and took a shower and connected with the water and connected with my body, and my body enjoyed that. And so suddenly I'm putting my frequency, my attention on different, or I'm putting my attention on different frequencies, connecting with different frequencies, doing something that feels good, doing something that gets my day going, doing something that's part of my routine. And then the mind is not stuck in that negative thought loop any longer. And I've slowed down. And now my body's come to rest. It feels better. My mind feels good. And even though the day started with anxiety, becoming aware of it allowed me to transmute it and change the course of the day. And now I'm making this video. And so now my day is becoming more creative, more productive, more enjoyable. And this is the power of becoming aware of your state of being and aware of your ability to alter it. And it's not that we should avoid uncomfortable things. There are certain things that must be addressed that are going to be lower frequencies to address and experience and go through. And there are lessons and wisdom for all of us to glean from those things. But certainly, sitting in anxiety and worrying about things is just a lesson that you don't need to be thinking about or worrying about those things. We need to learn to slow down, calm down the mind, calm down what we're going through, and come back into the body and realize that we have power over our state of being. And we alter our state of being by first becoming aware and then doing something to change our vibration that gets us into a calmer state, right? Really, most of the time it's going to be about slowing down, all right? If we're really angry, we want to slow down. If our thoughts are spiraling and there's fear and worry, we're going to want to slow down, right? And once you have slowed down, then it's about your choice. Then it's about your conscious choice. What am I going to put my focus on next? Am I going to return to that thing? And if I do so, am I going to have a better perspective on it? And if not, maybe it's best to leave that alone and focus on something that is more preferable right now. That's going to lead you into a better state of being. Because ultimately, we want to be putting our attention on higher frequency things much of the time. We want to spend our time not necessarily in higher vibrations. We want to stay balanced more often than not. Because if we're constantly going up and down, we're going to keep following that pendulum swing that as high up as you go, you must go just as far down, that type of thing. Unless you're consciously able to navigate that well. But really, we want to find balance, and we want to put our focus on things that naturally just uplift us, feel good, bring us to a more balanced state of mind and state of being. And then we're able to transmute and change our state of being. So even if a day doesn't necessarily start well, or if something happens in the middle of your day that disrupts your flow of things, it is always possible to come back to your center, to slow down, and then to navigate onto something else that is more beneficial for what you're doing. But you have to be willing to slow down. You have to be willing to set boundaries. You know, even if you are at work, if you get into a state of mind that you know you might lash out at somebody, you might become reactive, you might emotionally break down or something like that. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Take a break. It really doesn't. People don't have any right to control you and stop you from taking care of yourself. Taking care of yourself wherever you're at is always your top priority. It just is. Because this is who you are. This is who you came here to be. This is the body you chose to come here and take care of. And no one has any right to tell you that you can't take a break, a breather, if you need to. And honestly, resetting doesn't take more than 5 minutes. You know, it really doesn't. When we can come back to the breath, put our focus on the breath, slow down, come back into the body, we can alter anything. We can change anything, because really the most important thing is just if we notice we're in that stressful state of being or in that stress response, the fight, flight, freeze, if we can notice that and just breathe our way out of it, back into the parasympathetic nervous system, the calmer state of being, known as the rest and digest state of being. We want to move back into that. Our mind will feel better, our body will feel better, and we'll feel better. And then you can continue with your day. Because ultimately, any fear, any worry, any anxiety that comes up in the mind, it is a story. It is a product of the mind. It doesn't have to be reality, right? Anything that we're so worked up about and worried about, it doesn't have to be as bad as we think it is. And the vast majority of the time, it's not as bad as the thoughts make it seem like it's going to be. Usually, there's a much better solution, and that's always going to come from a place of well-being, not a place of anxiety and panic. So, yeah, hope this helped you understand the difference between vibration and frequency. Maybe you've got a different perspective on how to change your state of being. If any of this helped you or sparked any ideas or anything, I'd love to hear it in the comments. And yeah, as always, love you guys, and I will see you in the next one.